We'll call the April 23rd school board meeting to session. We'll start with a moment of silence and a pledge of allegiance. Tonight we'll start with our special recognition, our winter athletics. We have Mr. Cook from St. Clair and Mr. Westerhoff from Marine City. And Mr. Westerhoff, you're up.
Mr. Brewer, thank you. Dr. Green, members of the board, at this time we'd like to recognize the outstanding achievements of our winter athletics at Marine City High School. First, our competitive cheer team. Any representatives, please come forward. They received the MAC Sportsmanship Award. Stay up there, ladies, please. Now for our boys swim, TJ Kohler, all league in the 100, backstroke, MAC Gold, all area Times Herald, state qualifier, Division III finals, back in the backstroke, and school record in the 100 backstroke, 56.74 in the MISCA Academic All-State Division III. Kevin Markle, all area, Times Herald, regional qualifier Division III in the diving, state qualifier, and Michigan High School Athletic Association Division III diving. Samuel Mergic, regional qualifier, Division III diving, state qualifier, and also Division III diving for that. Jerry St. James, MISCA Academic All-State Division III. David Van Overbeck, All Area Times Herald, MISCA Academic All-State Division III. Also would like to recognize from the fall, Gabby Glodich, MISCA Academic All-State Division III. Girls cheer, Jen Forgetto, MAC Blue Coach of the Year. And at this time, if anybody would like to take a photo, before I turn it over to Mr. Cook from St. Clair.
Evening, Mr. Brewer, Dr. Green. We'd like to recognize St. Clair High School's achievements for winter 2011-12. First, our team awards for our varsity boys hockey team. They were all-state academic team. The sport of swimming, Charles Shinsky, state finalist qualifier, all-league and all-area first team. Kent Gamber, state finalist qualifier, all-league and all-area first team. Kevin Brunner, state finalist qualifier, all-league and all-area first team. Justin Duchesne, all-area first team. In the sport of wrestling, Colton Fentner, league champion, all-region and state finalist qualifier. Colton Fentner is the first state finalist qualifier in St. Clair wrestling history, I believe. Ryan Parslow, league champion. Mitch Hilton, league champion. Michael Denny, regional qualifier. In the sport of hockey, Jacob Cronenworth, All-State second team, All-League academic All-State for 7 semesters, and All-Area first team. Ryan Gillerin, varsity hockey, academic All-State. Matthew Lanzi, academic All-State. The sport of basketball, Jeremy Carroll, All-League and All-Area first team. And girls basketball, Rachel Kehoe, All-League and All-Area first team. Haley Rutledge, All-League and All-Area first team. These are the award winners for St. Clair High School for winter 2011 and 12.
We'll just take a short break for those that want to leave and no longer want to stay with us. Thank you.
Good evening, Dr. Green and members of the Board of Education. Pine River is honored to be here tonight to share with you the Michigan Green School program. As you know, Pine River is situated on a very beautiful piece of property with a 7-acre nature trail and native plant gardens. We've always been conscious of our environment, and we've always tried to include it into our activities at Pine River. Well, last year we combined forces with other schools in Michigan and became a part of the Michigan Green School program and were recognized as a green school. This was through the initiative of our 4th grade team at Pine River. This year, through the same initiative, we were recognized as an Emerald level Michigan Green School. So here to share that process with you is the 4th grade team at Pine River. I would like to introduce Rachel Card, Catherine Christensen, and Dana Wilson.
Happy Earth Day. The Michigan Green School is a nonprofit agency, and it began as an idea by the Heartland Consolidated School District students and teachers, and they liked the idea of having 20 points of educational environment activities for schools to follow to teach their children about being conscious of the environment. And they took their idea to a local representative who then took it to the House and the Senate. It was passed and it became a public agency in May of 2006. And the first year it was implemented, 18 schools participated, and last year over 600 schools participated. Our Green School mission is to increase our students' awareness of our beautiful environment at Pine River by being conscious of saving energy and being aware of the natural environment around our school. And we hope that that will help them to become lifelong learners and good stewards of the environment, and something that they will take into their futures beyond the school.
One program that we started at Pine River, and it may seem like a simple program, but perhaps one of the most important things you can do in a school is to start a recycling program. So last year we started recycling with waste management. The PTO supported the small fee that waste management charged. This year we started with a new company that's completely free. They're called Green Earth Recycling, and they even recycle more things such as cardboard, which we produce a lot of at school. Every classroom has recycling bins where they collect paper, so the students can see firsthand how much paper and how many water bottles would normally be going into the trash, but they're kept in these receptacles. We have a center then where the materials are taken, and with the help of our custodians, they're put outside for collection twice a month. The custodians have told us that we have drastically reduced the amount of trash we produce every day. So, thank you. One other way we are reducing paper is in the art room. We reuse newspaper and magazines for covering work surfaces or for a variety of paper-related art projects.
Pine River has had a school wildflower garden for quite some time. It was established many years ago by Mrs. Stampless, and many parents and teachers worked as a committee to make it a beautiful place and to design and maintain it with the goal of creating a central area for student education. Currently, a retired teacher, Mrs. McKay, continues to maintain it, and the students use it to study their science curriculum and to work with the environment and gather animals and gather plants.
And in our school garden, we've always had a milkweed area that has been set aside. And our PTO president, Ann Rancilio, last year had the idea to actively pursue having our school registered as a Monarch Way Station through Monarch Watch. And a way station is a place where monarchs can lay eggs, and their larvae can eat the leaves on the milkweeds, and then the adults can have nectar, and that helps to sustain the migration of the monarch. So Mrs. Rancilio raised some monarchs at home and then brought the larvae back to the school. And by the fall, some of the subsequent generations were still there, and students were able to find larvae on the plants and use them in their studies.
This past fall, as part of our September 11th remembrance, we planted a peace pole in our garden. A peace pole is a way of revealing our school's idea that we want peace everywhere. The peace pole does say, "May peace prevail on earth" in 4 different languages: Spanish, French, Ojibwe, and English. And this connects to our green school work because the money for this peace pole was purchased from a grant received because of other ecological projects.
We also use the garden for a test garden, Journey North. There's an app for that. They have a website, and they devised it for students to study the environment and keep track of the seasons, and we study the seasons and plants and animals, so this has been perfect. The students gathered information on the best place to plant the tulips, and then they watch for their showing up green and then the bloom as a sign of the arrival of spring. And if you go on the Journey North website and go to the map and zoom in, you can find record of our data and so on the website. Another portion of Journey North is a symbolic monarch migration, and there's a special migration of the monarchs from the northern part of the United States all the way down to Mexico, to a special area in Mexico. And the students study the effects on habitat that we have up here when we cover our fields and so on, and cut down on the milkweed area, growing area. And then down in the southern area, they live in the mountains in the pine trees, and they hibernate through the winter, and then they start their journey north again. So we use that to enhance our studies and to look at how environments and habitats in all sorts of areas across different nations are affected by choices we make as human beings.
Our next green point happened as a happy accident. We had an idea that we could have our students write a persuasive essay to the school district asking them to stop mowing an old soccer field that hadn't been used in many, many years. So we had the essays ready to go, and that spring we noticed they weren't mowing this huge portion of our property that we had hoped they wouldn't mow. And since then, the grasses have grown, and it's lush, and wildlife now can have a place to find food and shelter. We have deer passing through. I was out there and I saw some crayfish mounds being built. We have turkeys that wander in, so it's a great habitat for wildlife.
Something we do to celebrate Earth Day and a way of allowing the kids to express their understanding of ecological ideas is that they create T-shirts with their own environmental phrases on them, and we hang them through the school on clotheslines. And that kind of spreads the message throughout our school of things you can do to reduce, reuse, recycle, and care for the earth.
Day at the Pine is an annual event that happens at Pine River for our 5th graders. It's a day when the students spend time outdoors with naturalist Dan Farmer and his colleagues who teach them about the biodiversity in our own schoolyard. And the students spend time catching birds and observing them and looking for insects in our nature trail and in our meadows. And they also look at animals that Dan brings with him that are a little exotic, and they can touch them and see them firsthand. So it's a way for them to not only appreciate the beauty and biodiversity of our schoolyard, but the world beyond.
We also know that one of the important things is to have materials and research that students can look at. And so the teachers at Pine River, go to work at McDonald's. McDonald's offers a program called McTeacher Night where parents can go and support by buying there, and then the school receives a donation of $200. And last year, we used the $200 to purchase materials for the library, plus Mrs. Dingman supports a Green School project through district monies with purchasing additional materials that support our ecology studies. It's me. We also have a bird feeding station on the 4th grade side of the playground. The students fill and maintain it, and we have been lucky enough to see the standard birds come and go. And also we're looking for our first Baltimore Oriole, and also rose-breasted grosbeak. And then in the fall, we had some of those turkeys under the feeder, which created quite a stir when they were within, 5 or 10 feet of your classroom window.
Part of the 4th grade curriculum involves studying animals, and our students study a particular animal, and we ask them to create a zoo exhibit where they have to design a poster that has the animal's needs and adaptations and range, and they also create a habitat in the form of a diorama. And then we set them up in our gymnasium in a pioneer zoological park. Then we invite kindergartners, 1st graders, 2nd graders in to view the zoo, and the students can ask the 4th graders questions about their animals, and it especially helps the 2nd graders prepare for their annual trip to the Detroit Zoo.
As part of creating our habitat, we also provide bird housing. The 5th graders, as one of their gifts to the school, bought the purple martin house and the gourds, and we are trying to attract purple martins, and other birds are using them as well. So we have many more birds coming than show up at our feeders, and it creates a really nice environment around the building.
This was a great example of how students could take everyday objects and repurpose them into something else. Some parents in Melissa Kenyon's 2nd grade classroom spent some time collecting milk jugs and then constructed this igloo for the 2nd graders to go inside and read. And it stayed in her room for quite a while as a way of showing the students, look what you can do with some everyday objects instead of just throwing them out right away. When they were done using the igloo, we took it all down and then we recycled all the milk jugs. It was a big hit with the 2nd graders.
For approximately 3 years, we've been recycling the printer cartridges. This cuts down on waste, and they can be reused. And it also keeps pollutants out of the landfills. Parents and community members, as well as in our own building, can bring in the cartridges and put them in the recycling bin.
Our next Green Point is actually a district initiative, and Dr. Green can probably speak to this better than we can. But in a nutshell, our energy systems, our heating systems were cleaned and recalibrated to run at maximum efficiency. And now we have zones within our building that can be controlled and monitored by our custodian, Andrew Maitland. The building's now cool on the weekends, and if teachers come into work, or principals, they can turn the heat up for an hour just by touching a button on the thermostat.
Another recycling type program we have in our building is headed by our latchkey supervisor, Ruth Vanden Bosch. She's been collecting juice pouches such as Capri Suns for quite some time, and she sends them into a company called TerraCycle. TerraCycle takes a variety of different kinds of projects, and if you send them in, they will pay you a nominal fee, and they turn products into other products. What they do with some of these juice pouches is they can turn them into like fencing, like that composite style fencing, and different types of things like that. And what Mrs. Vanden Bosch does with the money is to make some projects with the latchkey kids after school. So benefits both.
We also have a battery recycling program. Our particular Battery Plus store that we're using is over on Woodward, but I noticed driving down Hall Road, there's also a Battery Plus there. When they receive our batteries, which anybody can drop into the Battery Plus bins that are in our lobby and one in our media center, they are broken down into their components, such as plastic and the lead and the sodium sulfate, to be reused to create other things. And so we are gathering and keeping the harmful chemicals out of the ecology, and we're reusing through their recycling of what we bring them.
If you've never visited our nature trail, it is worth the trip. The wildflowers are currently in bloom. It's a 7-acre trail that was created many years ago by PTO parents and a grounds committee. And every year we have a group of students and staff and parents who maintain the trail. And this spring, our students, in celebration of Earth Day, are learning to identify the garlic mustard plant, which is a non-native invasive species that is kind of encroaching on our native plants. So they are pulling those out so that we can maintain the integrity of the natural environment.
All in all, the message that we really want to send to our students is for them to carry away in their hands and in their hearts the ideas of protecting the environment. And we think this is best summarized in a quote by Jane Goodall.
You cannot get through a single day without having an impact on the world around you. What you do makes a difference, and you have to decide what kind of difference you want to make.
Thank you. Are there any questions from the board?
Questions or comments to the board? Mr. Folsky?
Do you allow hunting on the property?
Only if you're hunting for good observation.
You used to have a garden there for raised vegetables, and then you gave them to other organizations. You still do that, or is that
No, we haven't done that for a few years.
okay?
It's a good idea, though.
Oh,
And just a comment, it looks like the program's come a long way since my kids were at Pine River Elementary School, so what a phenomenal thing, and congratulations.
Thank you.
Item number 4 is our consent agenda. Motion would be in order for the approval of minutes, approval of payment of bills, financial statement, and schedule of investments.
So moved.
Mr. Folsky, and supported by Mr. Kletcha. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carried. Item 5, persons wishing to address the board. I have one card here from a Mr. Stuart Sternberg.
Just one tonight, huh?
We'll welcome more if more want to come.
Can I have the podium as opposed to the middle row?
Sure.
Good evening to the board, parents, teachers. My name is Stuart Sternberg. Hopefully that's a name you'll be hearing a lot of, because I'm a proud Democrat running for the 81st district this coming November. And I wanted to just take a minute to address education, to address some of the problems facing education. And you'll have to excuse me, my allergies are going incredibly bad right now, and my asthma is acting up, so I promise I won't pass out or anything. But you never know. I was talking to one of my ex-students, who heard that I was going to run for the 81st District. Besides being a proud Democrat, I'm very proud of being an educator. And the student said, "Why are you leaving education? You've been here for years and years. You've done a lot. Why are you leaving?" And my response was, I am not leaving education. I am running to try to save education in Michigan. In the last several years, this district, the district in which I am an educator in, other districts in St. Clair County, we have seen teachers under attack. We have seen budgets gutted, public education gutted, privatization raised, and privatization means little to no transparency. Senator Phil Pavlov made a statement. He said, you can't get money out of education as soon as you turn a shovel. But in that situation, you have public bid process going on. And in that situation, you know exactly how that money is being spent. 80% of the private for-profit schools, not private, for-profit schools coming up, or 80% of the charters are for-profit. And they will have a different level of transparency from this public school system, and that's not fair. I want to run to stop that. I want to run to stop the attack on education. I want to run because I want to see real educational reform. We don't have educational reform. You have educational policy in Lansing being carried on by people with no educational background. That's not fair to parents. That's not fair to administrators or teachers. And it's certainly not fair to students. For years, we've been listening to people tell us how education is broken. Education is not broken. Government is broken. We have set education up for failure. We have taken money away from the schools. We have raised benchmarks. We have cut the resources going to teachers, and then we say, do more. And what you end up with are a great many teachers with a great many more students to teach, with less resources, questioning their abilities, and not feeling supported either by their schools or by their communities. And when you have a situation like that, you start to see education slide down. And if you think things are bad right now with the privatization movement, wait until this cyber school thing gets started. The idea that you can have a cyber school which spends X amount of money in overhead, and they get paid full foundation grant. Good luck, East China. Good luck, Marine City. Good luck, K-PAC, Yale, Port Huron. Good luck, Algonac, competing against that. And isn't it sad? They keep cutting budget, and then the administrators and the board say to us, we've got to get kids in. I understand the importance of an enrollment. In Port Huron, in order to get enrollment in, they've cut the core, or one of the alternative schools, is now 16 and a half credits to graduate. If 16 and a half credits does a fine job of educating a student, then why isn't it a fine job for everyone? It's a way of sucking people in. It is gross commercialism at its worst. When you started seeing, back in 2000, big signs, since when did we growing up see schools advertised on the side of the highway? When you see schools having to advertise and promote themselves like car companies, you know something's wrong. People, I know that my time is running over. I want to thank the board for letting me speak tonight. Thank people. Again, my name is Stuart Sternberg. If you want to hear more about my platforms, you can go to votesternberg.org, and I would be happy, if you want to contact me, I'll be happy to talk to you. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Sternberg. Anyone else wishing to address the board? Seeing none, we'll move on. Item number 6, our reports. First one, Superintendent Report. Dr. Green.
Thank you. We had kindergarten roundup here recently, and we had 207 eligible children register, and as compared to last year, it was 206 last year, so we're up 1, so we're excited about that. We appreciate the great job that staff did to make parents feel welcome, and that is a big project, that kindergarten roundup, and good job with Brenda and curriculum department and everyone that got involved with that. The legislation regarding kindergarten does seem to be moving forward in terms of the age. So the latest thing that's been out of committee is not effective this coming year for 12-13, but it would be effective for 13-14. And that would be, instead of 5 years old on December 1st, it would be 5 years old on November 1st. And then for 14-15, it would be October 1st. And then for 15-16, it would be September 1st for a 5-year-old to be eligible to attend kindergarten. So that legislation has not passed yet, but it's out of committee. And it seems like it's on its way to passing. So we will continue to watch that and follow those developments. The planning for all-day, everyday kindergarten has been going very well. We have lots of things to consider, such as the curriculum, the pacing, the materials, the logistics of the classrooms, all of those things, so that students and parents can have a great experience right from day one. So we're getting a lot of excitement from our parents about that program, and that will be ongoing as we continue. This displacement and staffing process is starting this week, April 25th, and the 12-13 budget hearing will be on May 14th. We are also planning for summer school. We have elementary, middle, and high school summer school. This is generally for kids that are gaining credit recovery, and we're excited about how we are able to accomplish that and keep kids up to speed on their learning during the summer. So that planning is going on, and thanks to, again, to curriculum staff and administrative staff for planning that great program.
Item number 2 under reports, status of probationary teachers, and Dr. Green.
Thank you. As part of our normal process, each April we report to the board the status of probationary and tenure teachers. We have 4 teachers this year that will receive tenure under the provisions of the Michigan Tenure Act. Those are Lori Gardner from Marine City High, Julie Gunnarsson, Marine City Middle, Dave Urich from Marine City High, and Jeannie Van Heck from Pine River Elementary. So the Michigan Tenure Act also requires that we inform the board of the progress of probationary teachers, so you see that on the following pages. We don't have that many probationary, but we do a list for you of all the teachers in the district, and so those are on the following pages. And our teaching staff is doing well, and we're excited to let these teachers know that they will be gaining tenure at the end of this school year.
Thank you, Dr. Green. Item number 7 would be our action items. Item number 1 would be our roofing bids.
And I'll go ahead and start that.
Okay.
We have St. Clair High School is the biggest project that we have. It's re-roofing several areas at the high school, and this project consists of the complete removal of the existing roof system and replacing with a fully adhered EPDM roof system. And then we use the existing installation as needed. And then we've got miscellaneous repairs going on at Marine City High and Gearing. And so the total bids, as you see on page 30, the low bid was $275,800, and we had 6 bidders. And so we did do a post-bid interview, and this company is TriStar Industries, comes with great recommendations. This project comes under the 2009 bond issue project, so the money is taken from those proceeds, and it is within the budget. So we are ready to go this summer upon award. So the administration is recommending that the board award the roofing projects to TriStar Industries in the amount of $275,800.
Need a motion?
So move.
Mr. Folsky, support?
Support.
Mr. Kletcha. Questions or comments?
Have we, have we dealt with this company before, do you know, Dr. Green? or-
I do not know for sure if we have dealt with TriStar. I don't know if Keith is not out there, but we've dealt with, we've certainly checked on the references, and they come highly recommended.
Okay.
Mr. Risley?
Something I was curious about was the disparity between the, or I guess the amount that, was there a reason why the highest one was 529,000, or did they offer an explanation?
I think sometimes, you know, we did not ask explanation, but I think what happens sometimes, some bidders do not need the work as bad as others, and so sometimes they're all filled up, so then they don't need to bid as tight.
Okay. And like the one that's under, there's two that are under the budget, under the 310,000 mark. And like I was talking with somebody just the other day, and we were talking about the kind of like the bidding process and stuff, but the which there's no problem with the bidding process, but the thing is, like, you get what you pay for, and if you, but I mean, did you go through with them and kind of figure out?
Well, what you do on this is you have specifications that you bid towards. So everyone bids on the same exact thing. So you're bidding on the type of roofing, the type of insulation, you know, and all of the components of it. So sometimes bidders are able to give you a better price due to the labor that they charge, or, you know, something like that. So one of our projects or process is to take the low bid as long as they're qualified and as long as they can do the work.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, thank you.
Any more questions? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, same sign. So moved. Second item is paving bids. Dr. Green?
Same kind of thing here. This is our yearly, what we've been doing, of course, with our bond and our sinking funds has been roofing and paving. And so this is the paving that is most needed around the district. St. Clair High School, the staff paving, staff parking lot. And then Eddy Elementary would be the north side of Eddy Elementary. Bell River Elementary is in the bus loop in the areas that are failing. Gearing Elementary is the entire bus loop. And then Marine City High School is the entranceways to the student parking lot. So basically what this involves is complete replacement of those areas. So if they're not a whole area, they would saw cut, and then they would take the material out and then put in the proper base and then repave. And so on this project, we had a lot of good bidders again, and the bidding was very competitive. We have Cordis Brothers is the low bid for $350,355.50. And so we are recommending that the board award that paving project as presented.
Motion required.
So moved.
Mr. Kletch?
Support.
Support. Mr. Risley? I think that's just a great 11 bids on that.
Mm-hmm.
That shows that the bid system works.
Yeah.
Great. Any other comments or questions?
I
Yes.
like the fact that there was a lot of local bidders. Very good.
Yes. Nice to see one get it, too. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. So moved. Mechanical bids.
This project, as you might recall, and actually our presenters talked a little bit about it, the energy and controls project that we've been working on the last couple of years. This again comes from the portion of the proceeds from the bond issue, and it involves changing out the energy systems and the controls and mechanical systems to make them more efficient and to make them more cost effective. And so this project is at Marine City Middle School, and it consists of replacing all of the unit ventilators, which there are 38 existing unit ventilators that are electric, and these would be 22 unit ventilators where they would be gas not electric. And so these provide both heating and cooling. And when you say 38 versus 22, what happens at Marine City Middle School right now is you have two small units in a lot of the classrooms, and so they would be replaced by one larger unit, is why that is different like that. You'd also have new rooftop units on the bigger areas, and you'd have the associated sheet metal ductwork and the piping, things like that. You'd have new pumps and variable frequency drives along with all of the energy controls throughout the building. Now, these are direct digital controls, which allow for you to control it, like was said earlier, by zones. And they are based on the existing platform that we just put in last year, the Tritium-based, which involves, it's a web-based program where a custodian or somebody even from our office here could see if you got a report that there was a problem in a room, you could actually go online and see that problem and see what was going on, whether a valve wasn't opening or whether a louver wasn't operating properly or whatever. So this, again, was a very competitive bid. We had great drawings for this and design. And so the budget was $1.2 million, 1.250, and the low bid was 1.149 from Ecker Mechanical. And we have worked with them in the past. They have done this type of work. We're going to continue with the same controls that we put in the last. So we just did those last three buildings, as you recall, in the fall. We did St. Clair Middle, Pine River, and Bell River. And so this would be our fourth building. This is the most extensive work because we have to replace all the unit vents as well as the controls, and then we have the rooftop units as well. So that's why it's that much money. But should be a very good project, should allow us a lot better control of the building, and it should allow for lower cost operationally as we go forward.
Okay.
Questions? Or if you want to take a motion first.
Yep. Administration is recommending that the board award the mechanical projects as listed to Eckler Mechanical in the amount of $1,149,000.
So move.
Moved by Mr. Folsky,
Support.
support by Mr. Kletcha. Comments or questions? Mr. Kenningbauer?
I'm assuming it passes now. What is the time frame for this project? Just thinking about September.
Yeah, this is a project designed to be done this summer. So as of tomorrow, we'll be ordering, and they'll be ordering the unit ventilators, which are about a 6 or 7 week lead time. So we think that those would arrive just about the end of June, and they should be able to do all of this work in the summer in that 10-week period. So that would be our plan, that it would be completed, and then we'd be ready to move in mid-August.
Thank you.
Mr. Richley?
Will there, with the last thing that we passed with this, I know we kind of measured like the savings that we had with that, I don't know what company it was that we went through the last time for the energy savings. Will there be a way for us to measure the amount of savings that we get?
Yes, we've been doing a great job of tracking our costs, so we have the exact cost of this building, and we should be able to benchmark that and then go forward and see what our savings are.
And how long do you think it would take to recover the 1.1 million?
Well, it will take longer to recover that amount because that's a sizable amount. We're doing more work there than just the controls part of it. Right. But yeah, you'll take a long time to recover that amount. Yeah.
Okay. And also something that I wanted to make clear, I think on all three of these, those were bond projects approved by voters. So that's something I just wanted. I think
right.
you already mentioned that. So
yeah. No, it's important to know that the sinking fund and the bond issue that we did for these types of projects, great for our community support and allows us to do this kind of work without having to tap into the general fund.
Mm-hmm. Thank you.
I have a couple questions.
Yes, Mr. Folsky.
I think this is the first time Marine City Middle School has any big project like this done since it was built. So I think this is...
Well, this is a major project. We have done other work down there. I mean, we've replaced carpeting, and we've done ceiling tile, and we've done lighting. We did all kinds of lighting down there. We did the locker rooms last fall. I mean, we've done a lot of things, but this is a major mechanical project, which takes a lot of money. It really took a bond issue to be able to do this. We could not have done this with just the sinking fund.
What kind of warranty do we have on this? And 'cause
You get a full year warranty once
Only
the
a full
project
year?
is commissioned. So, you know, the day that we accept the project, which would probably be around September 1st, then you'd have a full year to see it work, make sure everything works properly. They'll come in and do a punch list after a few months as well, just to make sure that everything is working right.
Is does this warranty cover any added charges that we have to pay, like hourly for someone to come out, or?
The warranty would cover all time and materials for that equipment. So when you commission a piece of equipment, so let's say you've got a pump, and then someone determines that the pump is not working exactly right, or
Right.
it's not as efficient as it should be, then they'll come out, either replace the pump or fix the pump, and that would be a no charge.
Okay, all right.
See no other comments? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. So moved. Item number 8 would be our information discussion items. Item A, parameters for the 2012-13 budget development.
Thank you. And as you know, we've been working on this for a while. District budgets, as was said by our speaker earlier, have been under tremendous pressure the last several years. And in our particular district, just in the last year or so, our state funding was decreased by $470 per pupil. And that equates to over $2.2 million each year, every year. In the last year, we have 200 fewer pupils coming to our school, mainly because of declining kindergarten count compared to our graduation. And that equates to a $1.5 million. So we've had a lot of issues that we've had to deal with, and we've addressed these over the years through various means, including reducing staffing, we've reduced compensation, and we've closed an elementary school. In the last 6 weeks, we had a process where we presented the state of the district to the staff and community groups, and we discussed the financial situation at the last 2 board meetings, special board meetings, and we did accept ideas and suggestions for budget reduction through our website. And as was stated during our presentation, 92% of our budget is staffing. It's salaries and benefits. So it's impossible to make reductions without reducing staffing and impacting compensation. On the following page, on page 36 of your packet, you can see if you add up the items not related to staffing or compensation, it's $193,000. And those items are the building and department budgets at $108,000, and the energy savings at $75,000, and then I think the reducing conference and travel not paid by grant funds. Those are the only 3 that aren't related to staffing. The other monies, the other numbers are $2,089,000. It's about 91.5% of the total reduction. So it kind of works out just in terms of how you have to cut the budget. You have to do it in relation to what your budget is. So these are difficult times. We have reduced about 200 full-time positions over the last 10 years. Compensation has been reduced for our employees. And although the budget reductions have been made and the district has fewer staff and fewer resources, our student performance has actually improved. Facilities, curriculum, and technology are all improved over the last few years. It is never easy to reduce, but we must align our staffing with enrollment, we must align our expenditures with our revenue, and we must continue to improve student performance. I do believe we have a great district. I think it's evidenced by our presentation tonight. Pine River, one of our finest schools, and we're always very proud of what they do. And we have great people all around the district, and we will continue to do great things for our students. So the budget shortfall that has been presented for next year is about $3.3 million. With the program moves that we made already, saving $300,000 by using $700,000 from our fund balance, the budget reduction amount needed for next year has been reduced to $2.3 million. So this following page has the parameters in which the budget will be developed. The staffing and displacement process for all groups will start this week, and we look forward to having agreements with our bargaining unit groups and our support staff groups by May 14th, which is our budget hearing. So just going over the reductions, it's very similar to what you saw last week. On the first one is staffing, anticipated staffing reductions, $1.1 million. We have anticipated contract concessions for support services at $710,000. We have an administrative reduction of the secondary curriculum director position at $120,000. Additional reductions with central office administrative contracts at $60,000. Reducing building and apartment budgets, $108,000. Reducing custodial overtime at $10,000. Reducing substitute days for school business at $10,000. Energy savings, $75,000. Restructuring the child care program at $15,000. And reducing the conference travel food not paid by grants at $10,000, for a total of $2,282,000. So the description of those are on the following page. You saw it last week. The only different one on here that was not on here last week is the central office administrative contracts, and that's been something that we've been working on. And we're going to make those changes to save about $60,000. So, questions from the board members or comments?
Mr. Richley?
The question I had was about the conference travel and the MASB. Something I was curious about was, I think we spend, what is the approximate amount that we spend on the membership into that?
About $7,000. For
I thought-
MASB?
Yeah.
I think it's about $7,000.
Okay, because I thought it was more than that, because under, maybe it wasn't
10,000.
itemized or something, it was like 40,000 something.
Oh, no, it's not that much.
But that was under the Board of Education's budget would, I don't know if that would have been,
Something different,
it must
maybe?
have been, I think that might have been included into that, it might have been.
Yeah,
itemized
probably
or
something else in there. Yeah, the membership for the MASB is about maybe 8,000, something like that.
Oh,
Yeah, it's
okay, that's
very
not
much.
as bad as I thought it was. And is that like the cheapest that we can do that for?
Yeah, that's done by enrollment, and as our enrollment has dropped, our fee has dropped a little bit.
Mhm. Okay. And, number one, I forgot, I wanted to thank both Dr. Green and Mrs. Heyman for putting together the budget process and allowing the community to come in and the board to come in and kind of be a part of the process. And I think that's something that, of course, should be the way that it always should be. And I think that I just want to thank Dr. Green and Mrs. Heyman for letting that be open. And something else I wanted to ask on number 2, for anticipated contract concessions for support services, would that be, like, do we have a time frame on that or not?
We do. We're hoping to have the bargaining completed by May 10th, actually.
Okay. And all of these things that should be voted on at the May meeting or the June meeting?
That would be voted on at the June meeting. The May meeting will be just the hearing.
Okay. Okay, and so I think that pretty much covers what I had. Thank you.
I should say the bargaining, if we get bargaining agreements, those would be voted on before the June meeting. That would be
Okay.
separate vote than the budget.
Okay.
Mr. Fletcher?
I just wanted to clarify, and if I'm reading this correctly, the anticipated contract concessions, you're figuring the target is about half of the market savings that we had shown for each group, correct?
Yes.
Good number.
No more questions? Move on to final,
Sorry.
Yes.
I forgot about one thing. When the budgets come up the contracts come up for the teachers and the administrators next year, do we have any anticipated savings for that, or is that kind of too long?
Yeah, that's a little too early to tell right now, but certainly we believe that we're going to be still in a concessionary environment.
Okay.
So, but we don't know how that will work. We've got a little ways to go. We're trying to solve this one problem at a time is where we're at. So.
All right. Thank you.
all right. Last item is the board agenda on page 38. Takes us through the end of the year and April 2013. And with that being said, the board stands adjourned.